The river's whisper. Tai stood alone in the inky blackness of the night, her feet sinking into the damp, muddy ground. The air was heavy with a damp chill, and the river before her seemed to pulse with a life of its own, glowing faintly under the pale light of the moon. Somewhere in the distance, a woman's voice echoed, a chilling blend of laughter and sobbing that sent shivers racing down her spine. The church loomed nearby, half submerged in the murky river, its cracked walls covered in moss and ominous symbols etched into the stone. Legend had it that anyone who stepped into the waters surrounding the church would never return the same. But Tai wasn't afraid. Tonight was Valentine's Day, and she had come prepared to unlock her destiny, no matter the cost. For years, she had been mocked and overlooked, her dark skin ridiculed, her dreams dismissed. She was tired of being the outcast. She wanted power. She wanted control. The old woman in the village had told her the way, to visit the river church on Valentine's night when the veil between worlds was thinnest and make an offering to Mila, the spirit of secrets. As Tai approached the entrance, the whispers grew louder, filling her ears with words she couldn't quite understand. Her heart pounded, but her resolve was unwavering. Clutched in her hand was a red scarf soaked in blood, her offering to the spirit that would grant her the power to lure anyone who dared underestimate her. Inside the church, the air was thick with the scent of decay and wet earth. Tai knelt before the broken altar, lit a single black candle, and began to chant the words she had learned. Slowly, the waters began to ripple violently, and a figure emerged, a woman with pale, translucent skin, eyes black as the void, and long, twisting hair that seemed to move like snakes. "What do you seek, child of the earth?" the spirit's voice echoed, filling the space with a bone-chilling resonance. Tai's voice trembled, but she spoke clearly. "I want power to make men fall for me, to use their love to feed my rise." The spirit's lips curved into a sinister smile. "Your wish shall be granted, but every gift comes with a price. Are you prepared to pay it?" "Yes," Tai whispered, her determination outshining her fear. The spirit stretched a hand toward her, a dark, glowing charm materializing in her palm. "Wear this, and they will be drawn to you. Their devotion will be their downfall. But remember, the river always takes its due. Blood must flow." Tai left the church with the charm dangling around her neck and a fire burning in her heart. It wasn't long before she discovered its power. Men flocked to her like moths to a flame, their devotion blinding and obsessive. Each Valentine's Day, she chose one, a victim captivated by her beauty and false love. She lured them to her home, where rituals awaited. The charm demanded blood and body parts, tokens to feed the cult she had joined. The screams of her victims echoed through the night, blending with the whispers of the river. But the charm's hunger grew insatiable. Tai began to hear the whispers even in her sleep, voices demanding more blood, more lives. The spirit from the river church watched her from the shadows, its smile growing wider with every life she claimed. Tai had gained the power she sought, but it had come at a price far greater than she could have imagined. And as Valentine's Day approached once again, she realized she was no longer the hunter. The river was calling her, its whispers more menacing than ever, demanding payment she could no longer avoid. The last sound she heard before vanishing into the water was her own scream, mingling with the river's laughter. And so, the legend of Tai and the river church grew, a cautionary tale whispered in the dark to those who dared seek power without considering the price. The river's whisper, the shrine unveiled. The truth about the river church was a secret buried in whispers. To the villagers, it appeared as an abandoned church, a relic of colonial times overtaken by the relentless tide of nature. But to those who ventured close enough to feel the oppressive weight of the air around it, the truth seeped into their bones. This was no church. It was a shrine, an ancient gateway to powers far older than anything Christian missionaries had ever preached. Tai had fallen for its facade like countless others. The cracked steeple, the faint echo of hymns carried by the wind, and the weathered crucifix above the door all painted a picture of forgotten piety. Yet, as she stepped deeper into its embrace, she had begun to notice the cracks in the illusion, literally and metaphorically. The crucifix wasn't wood but a twisted branch covered in blood-red moss. The pews were made of stone, arranged not for prayer but as an intricate part of a sigil carved into the floor. And the altar, it was not a place for communion but a slab of black marble, its surface etched with runes that seemed to shimmer and crawl when touched by moonlight. But the true revelation came too late for Tai. The charm she now wore around her neck began to pulse faintly, its glow casting eerie shadows on her walls. She ignored it, reveling in her newfound power. Men fell at her feet, bewitched by her allure, each willing to do whatever she asked. She had learned the rituals well, how to summon the spirit, how to drain life from her victims, and how to use their blood to seal her place within the cult. Yet, the more Tai delved into the charm's power, the more vivid her dreams became. Each night, she found herself back at the river church or the shrine, as it now revealed itself in her visions. The walls dripped with a thick, black liquid, and the crucifix above the door twisted into the shape of a horned figure. The whispers grew louder, transforming into the voice of the spirit itself. You've taken what you wanted, but you've yet to see what you've given. One night, Tai awoke drenched in sweat, the charm burning against her chest. She grabbed a mirror to look at herself, and for a moment, her reflection wasn't her own. Instead, she saw the spirit from the shrine staring back, its eyes black voids and its smile cruel. Her fear grew, but so did her desperation. She had tasted power, and she wasn't willing to give it up. Determined to learn more, Tai returned to the river church under the cover of darkness. This time, the facade had fully unraveled. The moss-covered walls pulsed as though alive, and the air crackled with unseen energy. Inside, the spirit was waiting for her, its translucent form flickering like candlelight. You've seen the truth now, haven't you? It asked, its voice like shards of ice scraping against glass. Tai clenched her fists. You said I would have power. You never said it would consume me. The spirit laughed, the sound reverberating through the shrine. You came here blinded by your desires. The church lures those like you, those willing to sacrifice others for their gain. But the shrine is always the victor. It feeds on your greed, your fear, your blood. As the spirit spoke, the charm around Tai's neck grew heavier, its pulsing syncopating with her heartbeat. Her chest tightened, and she dropped to her knees. The whispers grew deafening. Faces of the men she had lured appeared before her, their expressions twisted in agony. You thought you could use me, the spirit hissed, leaning closer. But it is I who use you. Blood for blood. Soul for soul. The black marble altar began to glow, and Tai realized with horror that her blood now stained its surface. The charm fell from her neck, shattering into pieces. The spirit's laughter filled the room as the walls of the shrine seemed to close in around her. Her screams echoed into the night, but no one in the village heard. Or perhaps they chose not to listen. For those who knew of the shrine understood its price. It had claimed Tai as it had claimed countless others, feeding its insatiable hunger and drawing new prey with its false promises. By morning, the river church appeared unchanged, its moss-covered walls and weathered crucifix hiding the darkness within. But if one listened closely, they could hear the faint whispers of its latest victim, calling for help that would never come. The shrine's hunger was never sated, and Valentine's Day would come again, luring another desperate soul to its deadly embrace.